Welcome to the Hired by Passion podcast. I'm your host, Marcel Richard, and I will be interviewing artists and entrepreneurs on how they were able to escape the 9-to-5 and turn their passion into an income. Hello, and thanks for choosing to listen to the Hired by Passion podcast. I'm your host, Marcel Richard, and for the first episode of the podcast, I have a very special guest, one of the biggest names in Canadian stand-up comedy, as well as someone I'm happy to call my friend. I have Nikki Payne. Nikki's made quite the name for herself in stand-up comedy. She's earned 3 Canadian Comedy Awards as Best Stand-Up Newcomer and as Best Female Stand-Up. She was nominated twice for Gemini Awards. She has appeared on CTV's Comedy Inc., Nikki Payne's Funtime show, the National Film Board of Canada's The Next Big Things, and Much Music's Video on Trial. She was also a semi-finalist in the American television show The Last Comic Standing, and currently the voice of Becky on Teletoons' Bagel and Becky. Now, without any further ado, here is Nikki Payne. So, Nikki, there's so many things that you've done that it's hard to really pinpoint and pigeonhole you in one specific thing. When you meet somebody new for the first time who doesn't know who you are and they ask you, what do you do? What's your answer? Well,
it depends on who it is. Generally, I'll just say comedian. I'm a comic. But yeah, if it's somebody that I just don't want to get into the conversation of what I do, I'll just say I'm a writer.
Okay, sure. So when you say that you're a comedian, are some people surprised that you make a living doing that?
Yeah, I'm surprised I make a living doing it, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you get one or two. You get either people that are surprised that you can actually pay your bills doing that, or you get people that think because they see you on TV that you have way more money than you do. And then when they see the little place that you live in and the little car you drive, they're like, oh.
You're thinking if people see you on TV, they assume that you're a big shot type thing.
Yes. Yeah. I think there's an assumption that, oh, well, you're on TV, so you're rich.
Okay.
Yeah, but not in Canada.
Yeah. So when did you first start to think that you were going to make a living as an entertainer?
Oh, man, it's still and I'm not trying to be humble. It does still come as a shock that this is how I've made money the majority of my adult life. But I think it was when I paid off my student loan that I was like, okay, I've actually gotten myself out of student debt doing this. So I think that's when it dawned on me that this could be a serious way of making a living.
Your kind of aha moment says, you know what, I studied in something that I may or may not follow through, but you did study in writing as well, didn't you?
I took comedy writing and performance at Humber College. Yes.
So once you were able to say, well, look, I paid for that education through working in the entertainment field, maybe this is going to work out?
Well, not only did I pay for that, but I paid for the education that I didn't actually get a job in. So I paid off the backup job education.
So you were born with a cleft palate. That's your signature list. Did you ever feel like that was something that might hold you back in performance?
Absolutely. I was really worried that was going to hold me back. And it's weird that it's actually the thing that I think that's one of those life lessons that you learn, that, the thing that you think is going to hold you back might actually be the thing that propels you forward.
Well, it's kind of interesting. I mean, you propelled forward because you're smart and you're funny and you were able to make it work. Do you find that your list helped you?
I think that, I think hard work and dedication is ultimately what propels you forward. But in comedy, in entertainment in general, standing out in some way, being special in some way helps. So it definitely ended up becoming something that helped in the early days anyway, standing out. I mean, if I had a lisp and I wasn't funny, if I was a lisp and that's all I ever talked about, then that would have gotten old pretty fast. But it certainly is something that made people's ears perk up.
For sure. So when did you start to see it as a strength and not a weakness?
Geez, that's a good question. I don't know. I can't say that I can pinpoint any one moment. It was just hitting different goals and realizing that, I got there. Oh, I got to another goal. And then noticing that, that people were, wanting to talk about it, like in interviews like this. It's something people want to chat about. So, yeah, so it was a gradual thing that it just sort of gradually dawned on me that, oh, okay, this helps get my foot in the door.
So when you were studying comedy writing, was it still kind of a fear for you that it might hold you back, or?
Probably, yes. I don't think I gave it huge amounts of energy. It was something I thought about, but it wasn't something I thought about all the time.
Did you recall any way that you got through that? Because I feel like a lot of people listening, everybody has something, right? Everybody feels something. I'm French first, and let's say I'm trying to do something in English. I feel like maybe because I have the French accent, or because English is my second language, but to make a living using English instead of my first language, I feel like it's holding me back. And I think everybody has something like that, but it's hard sometimes to push forward and push through it. So do you have any tips for somebody in that kind of situation where they'd like to, they have something that they feel is holding them back and they can't kind of seem to push through it? They always use that as a crutch.
Well, I think it goes back to like what I just said, actually. I didn't overthink it too much. A lot of times the things that we think are going to hold us back is happening in our own heads a lot more than it's actually happening in real life. I think we do a lot of our own holding back because we overthink these things. We all, like you said, we all have something. Right. We've all got something in our minds that, whether true or not, could hold us back potentially from getting what we want. But why be your own enemy? If it is something that's going to hold you back, well, at least let it be other people that are doing the holding back and not you, right? Like, you can't control them, but you can control you a little bit. So the first obstacle is in your own mind, and not overthinking it.
Definitely. It's something that's easier said than done.
Very easier said than done. Much easier said than done. It's practice. Every time it pops into your head that, I have a lisp, or, French is my first language. It is stopping yourself every time and going, nope.
Not today.
Not the issue right now. The issue right now is I got to do whatever. I got to do this interview. And I think with practice, every time that you kind of go, nope, that's not the problem, you get better at it with time.
Just keep applying it every day, one step at a time. Just,
pops in your head, go, we don't have time for you right now, thought.
So going through, you were studying comedy writing, you wanted to be an entertainer. Was there ever a plan B while you were doing this in case, it wouldn't work out? Because going through this, you knew the odds, right? You knew the odds of making it a full-time profession is maybe not as high as you would hope, right?
Right. Yeah. My parents were super supportive of me doing this. They were like, you're young, you don't have any kids, you don't have any responsibilities right now. So now is the time to, if you want to give this a go, give it a go. But my dad asked me, can you please go to college for a year or two and just get something as a backup? So I went to the Nova Scotia Community College for recreational leadership. So I had a zero intent of ever actually really working in life. So I took recreational leadership, and that's basically like the person that runs some of the programs at your YMCA, or the lady that runs the activities at the nursing home that your grandparents are at, like that kind of stuff. So that's what I went to school for. That was my backup.
And during this study, I know a bit of the history is you were a mascot, right?
I was.
And I think I recall you saying something that it was kind of the first time that it gave you really stage time or good stage time to see that you enjoyed being in front of the crowd and entertaining.
Yeah, it was still a thought in my mind when I started college in Truro that I would like to perform, but I didn't know how, or I just knew it was something that I wanted to do. So it was odd. I was going there as a backup, but I ended up in doing, being a mascot. I ended up getting to perform and finding out that I really liked making people laugh and that I was probably pretty good at it. I ended up getting a lot of confidence. Like, I never really ever worked in recreation for very long, but I definitely have to say that when I was in college there, that's definitely where I got the confidence to do what I do.
So where was born the dream of being an entertainer, or where of being in front of a crowd entertaining?
I don't know. It was kind of fluky for me. I knew I wanted to perform when I was in high school. Well, actually, it probably goes back to like, gosh, I used to sing when I was little. Like I did a solo in the Christmas concert when I was like in kindergarten. And, dance classes and all that kind of stuff. And always putting on little shows at home for when people were over. And then in high school, yeah, definitely I was in drama, and I realized that I might actually have a talent for this. It was slow. I'm sorry. Again, it's not a definite moment that I was like, I want to be a performer. It came on slowly for me. And stand-up was totally a fluke. It's just where I ended up.
So trying different things is probably the better way to see what you like, and
just dive in there and do a bunch of stuff, and you'll find your way.
So when you got out of a comedy writing school, what was your long-term goals? Like, what was your vision of what you wanted your future to be?
Well, it's changed a lot since then. But when I got out of college, I wanted to be famous. I wanted to be rich and famous.
Yeah. Doesn't everyone?
What's that?
Doesn't everyone? Everybody wants to be rich and famous, right?
And I think when you're in your 20s, your goals are, different.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
And you have less life experience and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, to want to be rich and famous, but there's nothing wrong with it changing over time as well.
So how would you say things have changed? And what do you think influenced those changes?
I've gotten older. I want more purpose. I know that sounds really weird.
It doesn't sound weird at all.
Yeah, I want more purpose to what I do, and I want a slower, easier life.
So did you taste of what it was like to be rich and famous and said, that's not for me?
Well, I never got a taste of rich and famous, but I got a little taste of, I wouldn't say fame, but...
Oh, yeah, for sure. People know your name, right?
Yeah, it's not that I don't like it. It's just... How can I explain this? Because I don't want to make it. Comedy's been so good to me. I don't want this interview to be like a bitch fest about something that's been so amazing to me. I've had so many awesome opportunities.
It's a roller coaster of up and downs, right? It's the nice to get to see a vision of what that roller coaster was. It's
a lot of traveling. It's a lot of being alone a lot of the time. And it can be very lonely, particularly being a stand-up comedian, because you're traveling. It's not like traveling with a band. You travel alone. I went to LA and I was doing pretty good. I was getting auditions for things, I was doing the LA thing, and I don't know how to describe it. It just wasn't for me, because it's awesome. It's beautiful there. It's wonderful. Everybody should go who wants to go. I am not, I don't want to be one of those people where LA eats your soul. Because it's awesome. There's really good food and really nice people and really creative people. And it's awesome. So I just wasn't for me. I don't know how to describe it. And I'm still in a place in my life where I'm trying to figure it out. My gut told me to be a stand-up comedian when I was like 19 years old. My gut told me to perform. And when I was in LA and it was beautiful and awesome and wonderful, my gut was just screaming, this isn't where you're supposed to be. I don't know how to explain it any more than that.
How would you say it's different than what you expected?
I don't know. I wish I could give you, these are questions that I'm asking myself all the time. So I don't know if I can give you a clear answer. I know you're an answers man. You're very scientific.
Yeah.
You want things that you can grasp. And this is all I can say is my gut. The thing that I follow and has always led me to good things was saying we didn't belong there.
No, well, and that's
Or I know that's not concrete, and but that's all I know is that guiding force in my gut. And I know I'm starting to sound all Oprah-y, but that guiding force in my gut that whenever I've not listened to it, I've always ended up in shitty places.
Sure.
And when I do listen to it, it's been frightening, but it's always led me to good places with saying, this isn't where we're supposed to be.
I get it. You did get to LA though. You did get success. You went to LA. You got some success there.
It was good. I can't say it wasn't a bad time. It was a great time.
Okay. What would you say that your mentality then was to get that success? How did you attain the success that you did? What would you say was the leading factor to getting there?
I was still having fun. I was still having a lot of fun doing what I was doing. And so I think that was a big part of it. And you'll hear people say in comedy, that you got to stay hungry for it. And I guess I got kind of tired of always being hungry. I wanted to be full. It was like, so what? I have to spend my whole life being hungry? Can I have a big turkey dinner and just be happy and satisfied? I think, I know I'm talking in like weird, but people do. They always say, you got to stay hungry. You got to stay hungry. Like hunger's a good thing. It's like, but if you stay hungry forever, you starve to death. So I think to truly become truly rich and famous, you have to stay hungry.
And do you think that goes into the starving artist mentality where you have to work, you have to find work because you are literally hungry?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
You need to continually, when you're there, nobody really makes it in parentheses, let's say, or quote, makes it, because you're always, as an entertainer, you're always looking for more work. You always have to keep looking for more work. So you got to stay hungry, as in, if you don't keep looking for work, then you will eventually not have any work and you will be hungry.
You will be hungry.
Because it does take a lot of hard work and determination. So would you say that you were a disciplined person to get work done and to find more work?
Yeah, comedy, there's this notion that we're just these happy-go-lucky people, these kind of goofy slackers, but that couldn't be farther from the truth. These goofy slackers that you see in the movies and stuff have worked their asses off to get where they are. They are not just goofy slackers. They're very hardworking people that are very good at pretending to be goofy slackers.
So do you find that it got easier or harder as you gained more success?
For me, harder. Harder in the sense of I didn't really know what I wanted to do next. Like creatively, I was like, I feel like I've said everything that I have to say. And I think I've gotten to a point where it's like, I think right now I've said everything I wanted to say. And, now I'd like to say something different. But people pay a lot of money to see you say something similar to what they've seen on TV. Or do something similar. They don't want the same jokes over and over again, but they want to see Nikki Payne. They want to see her hump the microphone stand, see her be crazy and wild. And when people are paying a fair amount for tickets, you feel a little bit obligated to do that.
Yeah,
and that's tough in the creative world because you need to change. And so I found success, and again, I hate to sound like I'm bitching about success. Like, comedy has done amazing things for me, just opened up my world. I love comedy for what it's done for me. It's just, success sometimes can be, there's ups and downs to everything in life, right? Like, I would say success has done more good for me than bad, but there is that side of, it's sometimes a little hard to do something different.
Okay. So you mentioned you didn't really know what to do. And I think a lot of people in a lot of entrepreneurship or artistic venture don't really know what the next step is. And that's hard because there's no real manual into how to make a life doing this, right? Because everybody does it a different way. Did you have a mentor or someone who could kind of help you figure out what to do next? Or how did you figure out what to do next?
Well, I think when you're still enjoying what you're doing, the next step comes. I think what I'm going through is that I need to make a change that I'm unwilling to make. Because I haven't fully figured out what I need to change. And I think a lot of times when you're still, as long as you're happy in what you're doing and enjoying it, the next step has a way of coming. Again, it's not concrete, but I just find in my experience, when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and it's really truly what you're supposed to be doing, and you're really enjoying it, the next step comes. You have to have faith in the fact that the next step is going to come. You have to have a lot of discipline. You have to work very, very hard, and then just trust in the fact that the next step is gonna show itself.
Okay, so when you were in Toronto and going through the work, it kind of naturally, even if you didn't know what you never had a feeling you were banging your head against the wall trying to get things to work?
Not until now. Yeah, not until now. And it's strange. I'm still kind of trusting in the fact that it's going to sort itself out, and it's going to, the way is going to show itself. Because it always has, right? And it's just, I think in those moments, you have to be brave. How do I say this to, it's so hard because I'm in that right now. So it's almost like I'm giving myself advice or telling you something that I should be telling myself. But I believe in these moments firmly. Like the whole reason why I'm not flipping out, because I'm in this place where I'm like, well, I don't really like what I'm doing now, but but yet there's still this gut feeling that I'm going to sort it out.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that, because it always has.
All right.
So I think in these moments, you have to be brave, brave enough to be willing to bang your head up against the wall a bit until you sort it out. Again, not an easy answer, but that's the only answer I know to give right now, is that you just have to trust that you're going to sort out the issue, and that it's going to, 9 times out of 10 things sort themselves out. So you just have to be brave and stick it out, and the way will show itself. Again, sounding so Oprah right now. Wow.
So if we would get more into nitty gritty, when you were having success, or well, you still are having success, but when you were in Toronto building up to go to LA.
There's the moment where I felt it was right, and then the moments when I felt it wasn't right. And I do feel like I'm on the right path, by the way. Like moving to the Maritimes really slowed life down. That's something I really wanted. So I'm on the path to what I really want. So I think to be perfectly honest, I think I'm on the edge of a level of success that I've never experienced before. Will that look like the success that I've had in the past? Probably not. But I feel like I'm on the edge of something pretty awesome right now. But I know what you mean. When I was in Toronto being successful in comedy, I get what you mean. Because the audience doesn't know, but we've talked about this a lot. You and I hang out, right? So there's a certain amount of this story that the audience, doesn't, right? Yeah. So there was certainly a time, yes, when I was like really... Because in my mind, success is happy with what you're doing, too.
Exactly.
Like, that's a big part of it. That was a big life lesson for me, is that a big chunk of success is you being happy with what you're doing.
And your definition of success definitely changed over the years, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I thought success was rich and famous. And then it wasn't until I was no longer happy with what I was doing that I was like, Oh, success, a big chunk of it, like 99.9% of it is being happy with what you're doing. Because when you're happy with what you're doing, all that external success just has a way of coming, right? And then when you're not happy with what you're doing, then those external things also have a way of slowing down too, right? I mean, I know that sounds like a load of crap, like Oprah Winfrey crap. And all I can say to the person that's rolling their eyes right now listening to it is, yeah, you don't know till it happens, though. Because I would have been rolling my eyes at this 5-6 years ago. But yeah, you gotta be happy with what you're doing, or there's no effing point.
So let's say we would go back to that time. I guess if we want to get into nitty gritty of what was your schedule like? How did you, when you were, people were telling you to stay hungry and you wanted to get things done, what was your schedule like? How did you manage day-to-day things to keep on working on your projects?
I wrote every day. Writing was like panning for gold. You had to, you had to write a lot of horrible jokes. You had to write a lot of crappy things to get that one good joke. Like, there's probably people that are way more talented than me. They come up with brilliance just off the top of their heads. But for me, I just had to outwork everybody. And so I wrote every day, and I wrote way more terrible jokes than I wrote good ones.
Yeah. Well, you look at Will Smith says the same thing, right? He was willing to outwork everyone, and that's how he got his success. So if we all look at Will Smith as being so talented, he did a career in music and then in TV and then in movies, but he still attributes to being the hardest working person out there, right?
And it's easy to outwork people if you're happy doing what you're doing.
Definitely.
Like, that's the big thing, because it's not work when you're happy doing what you're doing. It could work no matter what it is, even if you just make little figurines all day, it's work when you don't enjoy making figurines anymore.
So to be disciplined and to keep motivated, it was just because you loved what you did that it was easy? It
wasn't hard to be disciplined. It wasn't hard to work hard because I loved what I was doing. If you don't love what you do, it's just not worth living. Or figure out a way to like what you do. Because it's not fair to say do what you love. There's a lot of people that just have to pay the bill, right? Nice and easy for us to sit here and go, do what you love, but do what you love or figure out a way to enjoy it.
I mean, there had to be times you were sitting in front of a blank piece of paper and you just didn't know what to write next. You felt you were out of ideas sometimes. So how did you get through that? How did you fight procrastination at that point? I mean, it's quite easy to look at a blank page. And
sometimes I would go to I can give you some concrete answers now. Sometimes I would go to the library and just pull one book like randomly off a shelf and flip through it and just write about whatever subject was in that book. Encyclopedias were really great for that.
Okay.
Because you write, maybe a page about one thing and then you could flip through to another section and write something else, right? Or I would write 3 pages nonstop, even if it was complete drivel, even if I was just writing over and over again. And I stole that from The Artist's Way, a really awesome book if you're looking to work on your creativity. It's called The Artist's Way by Julie Cameron, and because she's got lots of little tricks for stuff like that. Yeah, 3 pages nonstop. Generally, you're writing about something by the end of that.
Okay. I'll link that in the show notes, but I'm wondering, is there any other books that you read that you felt contributed to your success?
Yeah. Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. It's an oldie but a goodie. Yeah, in The Artist's Way.
Okay, cool. So I'll link those for people listening that they can just click and look at the show notes and find those books. So what would you say was your superpower that brought you the most success?
Superpower. I love what I was doing. Yeah, it was fun. Fun. Yeah, it was fun.
But everybody wants to have fun. I mean, you had...
What's wrong with wanting that? What's wrong with wanting that?
Well, no, there's nothing wrong with wanting that. Everybody wants that.
Yeah.
But...
Well, why can't we have more fun? Why? Because we're grown-ups and we're working and we want to be successful. We want to be successful grown-ups in our successful fields. Why does fun have to be, well, everybody wants fun.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. But
everybody has it.
It's interesting to think that you like a superpower would be, I just had more fun than other people. The amount of success that you received, you had to, I guess you maybe alluded to it, that you outwork people, your discipline. So your discipline could have been your superpower to.
Like the superpower, I'm not disciplined when I'm not having fun. No. So if you want to know the superpower, it's fun. Words like discipline don't sound fun. We're outworking people. That doesn't sound fun. But if what you're doing's fun, you can do those things. So the discipline was powered by fun. The outworking was powered by fun. Yeah, I know this goes totally against your Mr. Scientific. If you can't measure it, it doesn't exist. I love being a little worm that destroys. We have this notion of grown-ups that fun is for kids, and we end up making ourselves really miserable. Why can't you have fun? Why can't you be an accountant that has fun?
Well, I think you can, and maybe.
Why can't you be an engineer that's having fun? Right? Why can't you be, a dentist that has fun drilling people? Like, what's wrong with fun?
Well, nothing's wrong with fun.
It's powering the discipline and it's powering the work hardness. Then there's nothing wrong with that.
No, you make it. I guess it's hard to see that
we do a lot of what we should do. And I spent quite a few years in Toronto doing what I should do. And it looked like fun. It looked like the thing that was making me have loads of fun just a few years before. But in my head, I was like, oh, I got to do the late show. Oh, I'm tired. I don't want to do the late show. The fun was gone. So why keep doing it if it's not fun anymore? There's lots of ways to make money in this world, and a hell of a lot easier ways to make money in this world than, getting up and telling jokes. So if it's not fun anymore, why do it? And there's the answer. It's like, again, the guy that does the cleaning of, the offices at night is like, yeah, but I've got a mortgage to pay. I've got kids to put through school, right? And there comes, you got to try to find the fun in it, right? And I still have to pay the bills, and my skill in this world is making people laugh, right? So I'm doing things like I've teamed up with James Mullinger, a local comic here in New Brunswick, and we're writing a Christmas show now, right? So then that takes away the loneliness for me, right? And makes it all of a sudden fun again, right? And I'm excited about writing this Christmas show, right? And it doesn't feel like work writing a Christmas show because I'm not alone in doing it anymore, right? So, you got to do those things. Like, I don't want people thinking that I'm doing stand-up in front of them and I'm miserable, but because I'm not. Well, sometimes I have been, but I'm not. But we can't just go quit our jobs. So then you have to go find the fun, create the fun in what you do.
Yeah. But I guess, so if I listen to everything you said, your superpower was not to settle for something you didn't want. You followed your gut, you found the fun, and that brought you success. Yeah.
I'm somebody that, because I understand that we live in a world where sometimes you have to settle, right? I understand.
Do you really have to settle?
But I found it in my life. I found it so hard to settle. I've never been good at it. I tried to do the 9 to 5 thing and tried to do that and I was not happy. I was miserable, right? And so I went and did comedy for years and was happy for years. And then all of a sudden, I just wasn't on the right path anymore and felt miserable. And I could have kept doing comedy, that way, because I'm doing comedy now and I'm happy in doing it, right? Even though I'm in a place of change, right? Because I did switch things up, right? What I should have done was stayed in Toronto and kept pushing, or stayed in LA and kept pushing, right? Like, that's what I should have done. That's what everybody does. I was in LA. I should have stayed there, but I was miserable and I cannot compromise that, right? Like, I spent too many years of my life being miserable that I'm somebody personally that's unwilling to stay miserable. Like, what I really wanted to do was to have a little house by the water in the Maritimes. And so I just did it. So I did exactly what I shouldn't have done, but it was the right move.
But can you really call it success if you're miserable doing what you're doing? Is that really being successful?
No, but other people will call it success.
But is that important?
Yeah.
Is it important?
I think to some people it is. And I think to our egos, it is. Don't get me wrong. I struggle with my ego, right? There's me that watches my friends that stayed in LA, getting those things. And there's part of me that's super happy for them. And then there's the ego in me that's like, well, I could have done that if I stayed, right? Yeah. But then I have to remind myself, you were miserable when you were there. Like, you were so unhappy there. Yeah. I think there's a big pull in people, in humans to show off to other humans and be like, ooh, look what I got, human, even though they're miserable in it. Right. I think there is a part of people that would rather be miserable, but have everybody think that they've got, the golden ticket. I think it's much harder and much braver to go, nope, not happy. I'm going to go do this thing that's going to look like complete failure to other people, but I'll be happier. I think it takes a lot of balls to do that.
It does. And I totally understand, because I see it. I see the same thing. I look at the people I graduated in engineering with, and I'm thinking, like, if I would have stayed in engineering, I would have made, I would be much wealthier than I am now, right? There's always that thought of, if I would have done that, I would be wealthier, and everybody likes money, right? Yeah.
And you would have technically seen it through, right? But I think there's a lot of pressure. I think there's a lot of pressure to have the outward appearances of success. Yeah. But I've never been, when I'm miserable, I just can't stay. I just can't. I can't. Like, bless the people that can, but no, I couldn't do it.
I've been there. I've done that, and I totally understand. So if you could write a letter to 18-year-old Nikki, what would you think it would say? What would you write? What would you tell yourself?
I would say, follow your dreams. Follow your dreams with all your passion. And it's okay when the dream changes. Okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You're going to change as a human being. And what you want at 18 is going to be different at 40. Okay. And be brave. Be just as brave when you're 40 as when you were 20, and chase what it is that you want, no matter what it looks like to other people.
Did you ever feel like going through your process, it would be, I'm certain you had that, but just getting a normal job, do you ever feel like maybe I just should go do the 9 to 5? It'd be so much easier than the struggle or the hard work that you have to put to.
No, because I was terrible at 9 to 5. Like, even if I were to, because we talk a lot, right? And I talk about how, I'd like to have a pet store. I really want a pet store. A lot. But I would have to own the pet store. Like, I can't go work at a pet store because I'm a terrible employee. Right? I am not good with having anybody tell me what to do. So no, the best I could do in the real world is own my own business, because there's no way in hell I would put myself on some poor manager to deal with me. I'm not made for that world.
So when you were having some success, or when you started seeing that you were having,
I am having success, so I have to correct you there.
Well, that's why okay. I tried to correct myself there.
I am having success, but success is looking incredibly different to me now.
Exactly.
But when I was having outward, signs of success in the entertainment industry, I think that's what you mean, right?
Exactly, and that's what I meant, and I was trying to correct myself in saying, and it's not what I meant to say. But did you ever suffer from imposter syndrome, where you felt like, who am I to be getting all this attention, that you were scared that someday somebody was going to say like, oh wow, you shouldn't be, you don't merit all this?
Yeah.
And how did you fight that? How did you?
I don't know. I don't know how to do anything else, so I just kept doing it and hoping nobody knows. I feel like an imposter. I don't know about imposter now, but there's certainly a certain amount of guilt of, even sitting here today going, well, who are you to just go, oh, I don't enjoy living in Toronto, or I don't enjoy living in LA anymore. I don't want this life anymore. Who the hell am I? You got everything that you wanted, and now you're just gonna go live in Shediac? Like, who the hell do you think you are? There's a lot of guilt in that, of like, who the hell am I? You were given all this stuff, and now you just want something different? Who the hell do you think you are? Like, I definitely struggle with that even now.
But that goes with your superpower of following your gut and doing what feels fun, right?
Well, I can't, because I'll want to die if I don't. Like, I mean, honestly, like, I'm such a little wiener that way. Like, I was miserable. Like, so much of the backstory. Yeah. I have depression and anxiety, right? It was just getting worse and worse and worse the longer I stayed doing what I thought I was supposed to be doing. It just got worse and worse and worse, and it didn't get better until I came here, until I did the thing that seemed the most ridiculous. It's like, oh, I don't want to live in LA. I want to live in Shediac.
But it's frustrating that some people would look down upon that, when for you that is success, right?
Well, I was going to die staying, like literally, like I was going to die. I just literally felt like I'm going to die if I keep doing this. Yeah. And so it's super scary, changing everything about my life. And I'm still in the process of changing everything about my life, and so we'll have to do a follow-up interview and see how it goes, I guess, because I mean, like, you're talking to me as if I know everything, and I don't. Like, I'm in the process of, there's a lot of mornings that I wake up going, what the f*** have I done? But so, like, folks, I don't have all the answers. So, but what I'm starting to realize is nobody does.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. Nobody really does. And you're happy. Like, in the end, you say this move made you happy. Even if you sometimes wake up and say, why didn't I stay there? But you still, because you weren't happy, and
I'm not miserable anymore. I mean, I'm still in the process of figuring out, like, what my next move is going to be, sort of waiting to figure that out. But I'm much happier now than what I was. And so, you gotta, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that can grin and bear it, but I never could.
Yeah. And if you had to give a piece of advice to someone starting this process, I mean, you've been in this process for a bit. What helped you out? What helped you through this process, I guess, to get through this process of change?
Just breathe. I started meditating. Oh, speaking of breathing, I started meditating a lot, which, again, I'm, heading into Oprah territory again.
No, but that's huge. I mean, you look at a lot of the successful people out there quote meditation as one of the most influential things in their career, right? Because
it takes guts to change everything, right? It takes guts to, especially when everything's going good, right? Like, it looks good to everybody, right? Like, they're like, why would you change this? Everything's going according to plan. And, so it takes guts to go, yep, I'm gonna flip everything upside down and change everything. And you don't flip everything upside down all at once, right? You start flipping a few things upside down, right? And it takes guts, and you don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if this is, I don't know if I'm going to run back to LA with my tail between my legs going, no, I'm sorry. Can I come back and be a movie star now? or what? I don't know what's going to happen, and that's scary, and you can't make things happen overnight. And so I find meditating just makes me slow down and go, generally everything sorts itself out, and whatever problems need to get solved, well, I'll just solve them one at a time. Reality, that's all you can do. And so, so that's really helped me sort of in this process of changing everything. Meditating's been a big part of it. And exercising and then just getting out and trying lots of weird things and seeing what makes me happy. And I'm really lucky. I have the money to be able to do that. Again, here's my guilt coming up, right? I feel really guilty for having done this, right? But please, I understand that I'm really lucky that, that I have the financial ability. Again, I'm not rich, but I have the financial ability to go, I'm going to move this city out. I get that I'm really privileged. I get that.
Still worked hard to be there too, right?
I worked hard, and I've earned all of the things that I have, but I do understand what a great spot I am, and that not everybody has the ability to just flip their life upside down like I have. I'm really grateful that that I've been able to do that.
Yeah. So now that you're changing and your goals have changed, do you have goals that you write down this is what I want to accomplish now?
I've been so lost in it. And again, all of this because I bitched and complained to you with second cup about this. but I think when I was younger, it was very much, I want to do this. I want to be a stand-up comic. I want to get paid to be a stand-up comic. I want to do nothing but be the goals were much more clear when I was younger. And now it's because I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I want to be a stand-up comedian, right? But now it's what do I want to do? What other things do I like? Because it was such a narrow focus for so long that I never really got to be creative. I'm a creative person in general. And so I think my goals sound a lot different now, and they sound a lot more wordy, right? It's I'm going to do different things, right? I'm going to join an outdoor enthusiast group. I'm going to sell goofy little dog signs at Turner's this weekend. So it's me because I've been reading this book about, I've been reading it on and off. I read a couple pages and I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. And then I'm like, oh man, maybe it isn't.
Yeah.
Which
book?
I think it's literally just called How to Change Careers.
Okay.
I think it's literally called that. I'll go dig it out later and send the actual title, but okay. I believe it's a little purple book and it just says How to Change Careers. And one of the things it said is try out a bunch of different things. And so what I've found so far in doing that is that I really like being outside and I really like animals. So my goals are narrowing to outdoor animals.
All right. I think it's important, and a lot of people quote like a think and grow rich, where you have to think about what you want to do, and things will come. So I think there's a lot of people who say the importance of having like a vision board where you daily see the things you want to accomplish to kind of keep your mind on those goals. And it's when I was younger, again, it was my goals were much more clearer, and so I guess my goal right now is to find my passion again. Right. And because you've been there and sort of seen it over the last couple of years, like I really had to work really hard to come out of my depression and anxiety. So for a long time, that was the goal. It was to get my life back. Yeah. Right. And so, you watch me fight that fight, and I think I fought it pretty good. Yeah. I think I'm pretty proud. You're here, you're laughing, you're painting signs.
Laughing, I'm losing weight, I'm looking more like myself again and sounding more like myself again. I think I was a little shocked that the love of comedy didn't come back, because my love of everything else came back. But but the love of comedy's again changing. Right. Because, again, I'm super excited to be writing this ridiculous Christmas show. Right. So, I mean, maybe it's just coming in a different form, maybe. So that was my big goal for a long time, was simply that. Right. To, get my life back. And now that I, have some semblance of that, now I guess the goal is find my passion again, whether or not that's in comedy or some other creative venture, or maybe it's comedy and something, because I've had the blinders on for so many years. Maybe it's comedy and something, right? So it's hard to give advice when you're in the midst of something. Probably have better advice for this time in someone's life, in a year.
But what's the curse of that is once you get into these times, you forget what the struggle was like. It's the curse of knowledge. Once you really know it, you just it feels like common sense.
Yeah. But I think it's cool to talk to somebody that's in the place that I'm in right now, too, because it's so easy to go, oh, you just have to do this, this, and this, right? Once you've done it, right? And it's kind of cool to hear, or at least I think it's kind of cool to hear somebody that's in the midst of it, but they have enough life experience to know that they're going to find it. Because at 20, if I was going through this at 20, I don't think I would have the life experience to be brave enough to go, no, it's going to sort itself out. I just have to keep working and I'll find it. At 20, I don't think I wouldn't have had enough life experience. But at 40, I'm like, no, I'm going to find it. I know that gut feeling well enough now to know that I'm on the right track.
Good. Well, hopefully we'll
at 20, I didn't.
Yeah. We'll chat soon enough and see how these plans developed and where they got you.
It was cool to put this interview next to an interview like in a year or two.
Yeah.
Like what I have to say, no, when I said that, I was totally full of shit.
and that's a good chance that's going to happen too, right? Things change and perceptions change.
Things change and perceptions change of things, right? Like, God, if you had interviewed me when I was in the midst of my depression, I'd be like, I hate comedy. I hate comedy. It's dumb. The whole industry's changed. It sucks, right? And then, now today I'd be like, well, no, I was full of shit. I was full of piss and vinegar, and I didn't know what I was talking about, right? So, there could very well in a year or two me going, oh yeah, I was so confused.
No, that's good, and really that kind of goes around what I wanted to chat to you about today.
It's a really weird interview, isn't it? Because you really want people to have answers, and I have such limited answers.
I think it's the average of everybody's answers that are really the answers that are going to hopefully.
We're filled with people that are, full of horse shit that are like, this is what you got to do, like Dr. Oz, right? That's what you got to do to lose weight. This is what you got to do. There's too many experts, right? I think it's refreshing to hear somebody go, I don't know.
I think it is. Cool. So, well, thanks a lot, Nikki. I really appreciate you taking the time to come and chat with me.
Okay. I hope this wasn't a complete mess.
No, it's fine. Thanks a lot. Thanks for sticking around to the first Hired by Passion podcast with my guest, Nikki Payne. What stuck out the most with me was, though, when she said it's easy to outwork people if you're happy doing what you're doing. And that's why I named this podcast The Importance of Having Fun. I also believe that you need to be happy doing what you're doing in order to attain success or meaningful success, right? And I think that's the other thing that Nikki talked about is defining success for yourself. What is success to someone else might not be the success for yourself, right? So it's looking through everything you have experienced in life and finding what is success to you, what would make you feel like you've been successful in life, and maybe working to attain that. And I think all too often we try to attain what other people think success should be, and that's what we aim to attain. And sometimes we do attain that and we realize that's not really what we wanted for ourselves. So really, I think we need to work on trying to define success for ourselves and then finding a way to have fun at it so we don't mind putting in the hours that are necessary to attain that success that we're looking for. Something else we talked about at the start of the conversation was how Nikki was able to take her lisp that she thought would hinder her in a career in speaking, and she used it as a strength to stand out, and how my bilingualism seems to be my thing that I'm worrying about because I'm not really an expert in either languages and I do want to make a career speaking. So how can I use that as a strength to stand out? So I think we all have something like that we can use as a limiting belief. So how can we get past that and really find a way to use it to stand out? So I'd like to invite you to join the private Facebook group. You can find the link on the website, hiredbypassion.com, and there's a big logo there to join the private Facebook group. I'll accept you and we can have a discussion about what is success to you and maybe talk about what is your limiting belief and how maybe we can help you to try to get past that and find a way to use it to stand out. Thanks for listening to the Hired by Passion podcast. If you enjoyed the show, I would greatly appreciate a 5-star rating and review on iTunes.